Hey, good morning. So let me guess. You went down to the gun shop and bought your very first gun, and it turned out to be an AR-15. And the guy behind the counter is selling so many guns that he just didn't have time to go over how to operate your new rifle. So that's why you're here, because you want to learn how to operate this. And I'll tell you what, you came to the right spot. Let me tell you why. Let me give a little background before we get started, okay? In 1984, I went to work for a private security firm that was contracted by the federal government to provide security protecting nuclear devices, nuclear material, and we did a lot of training. Again, this was 1984. We were issued an M16 rifle. We qualified at least every 6 months with it. We learned to take it apart, clean it. I did that for over, well, almost 21 years. So I've had a lot of experience with the M16, which is similar to the AR-15, and we'll talk about that later. But in 1985, I bought my first AR-15, and I've had at least one ever since. That's what, 35 years? So I have a lot of experience with this weapon, and hopefully I can teach you guys a few things on how to shoot it, how to operate it, how to sight it, how to load the magazines, what ammo you can shoot. So, you know what? Let's get started. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is safety. There's 3 safety rules I want you to remember, and I want you to live by them, okay guys? Listen. Rule number 1, treat all guns as if they're loaded. Okay? I know this rifle is unloaded. I've checked it a dozen times so far. But I'm still not going to point it at somebody knowing it's unloaded, because you always want to treat all guns as always being loaded. Rule number 2, keep your finger off that trigger until your sights are on target, okay? Now I have this on safe, and this is what you should be doing. I have my finger off the trigger. I'm getting ready to shoot. I come up, line up my sights, take off my safety, put my finger on the trigger, line up, and fire, okay? So keep your finger off that trigger until you're ready to shoot. Safety rule number 3, be sure of your target and what's behind it, okay? Okay, now we're gonna go over the rifle. But before we do, I wanna go over the most important control on this rifle, and that is the safety. And that safety is located right here. That's on safe, that's on fire, okay? Safe, fire. You always want to keep this on safe until you get ready to fire. Now let me show you the other side of this safety here. See this pin right here? It's got a little notch in it. And you can see where it's pointing. That little notch is pointing at safe. Now it's pointing on fire. And I'll show you here in a moment why that's very important. Now, let's say you find your rifle with the safety off, okay? And you want to put it on safe, but it won't go on safe. Why is that? Because the hammer needs to be cocked in order for the safety to go on. So how do I do that? Very simple. I grab the charging handle, and I'm going to pull it back, which is going to cock the weapon, and now I can put the safety on. So again, if the safety does not go on, you want to make sure there's no magazine in here. You want to make sure the chamber is empty. You want to pull this back, release it, and put it on safe. Now this is the charging handle right here. What that's going to do, it's going to pull the bolt carrier. It's going to pull it back, which is this piece right here. And then right here at the front is the bolt. Most likely I'm just going to call this the bolt throughout the video. So, in order to make sure this rifle is safe, I'm going to pull that bolt back, and I'm going to look in that chamber. And it should look like this if it's empty. Now if it's not empty, now if I pull this bolt back to check the chamber and I see that, guess what? Now that's a dummy round, by the way, but this weapon is loaded if you see that, okay? Now if I want to take that out, all I have to do is pull this charging handle all the way back and that comes out. Again, I check the chamber, it's empty, my safe is on, bolt is locked back, it's laying flat on the shooting table. Anybody walking by now can see there's no magazine in it, the bolt is locked back, and they can look right here and see that it's on safe. So this right here is a safe weapon. Now is this a safe weapon? No, because the bolt is not locked back. Nobody knows if this is loaded or not. Again, treat every gun as if it is loaded. Let's take a look at the bolt latch or bolt release. That's this piece right here. Right now I have the bolt locked open. If I want to release that bolt, I can push this button right here. And that locks back. I'll show. Now if I want to lock it back, I'm going to pull the bolt back and push the bottom of this. And that just locked my bolt back. And this is what it looks like from the other side when I push my latch or my bolt release. Okay, that's how that operates. Okay, let's talk about sights. Most likely you bought your rifle and it's a flat top and it doesn't have any sights on it. You've got three options. You can put a set of iron sights similar to these here that pop right up. Bam. Now I can aim this, get the sight sighted in, and bam, I'm good to go. Now this is a peep sight. Let me show you what that looks like. Hopefully we can see that here. But that basically just has a small hole in it. Front sight has a post right here in the center. Now all you're going to do to line up these sights, you're going to look through that peep, find that front sight. I really can't see in my monitor here, but you're going to line that front sight up with that peep. Put that front sight right in the middle, put your target right on top of that front sight, squeeze the trigger, and bam, you should hit your target. Or, I would actually recommend a red dot. I have several of them, and I much prefer those over any other sight. You can put a red dot type of scope like a EOTech. I really like this one right here. In fact, this is my favorite type of sight right here, this EOTech. Or you can go ahead and put a rifle scope on this. Now if you're going to use this for home defense or carry it in your truck, I wouldn't recommend a full-size rifle scope like a 3x9 or a 4x12. You don't need something like that. I would recommend though a small compact scope like this little Nikon P223. This is a 3-power scope, and I'll tell you, it fits perfect on here, and it's a good combination for a rifle like this. So iron sights, red dot, or a small compact rifle scope is what I would recommend. Let's talk about the buttstock, because most likely your rifle came with an adjustable buttstock, just like this. This one's made by Magpul. Yours is probably going to be a little different, but it's going to operate about the same. This has 6 different positions on it, so you can adjust it. Now I'm a big guy. I have mine all the way out, so you're gonna adjust that where you want it. You're gonna come up on target, take the safety off, put your finger on the trigger, and bam, fire the weapon. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. But another thing I want to cover real quick. Once you start shooting this, that barrel is going to heat up, okay? So make sure you don't touch the barrel once you start shooting, because not only is my barrel going to get hot, but this front sight, because it's connected to the barrel, is also going to get pretty hot. So just be careful. If you have a sight like this and you do a lot of shooting and you decide to flip that up, you just burn your fingers. So be careful. Okay, let's talk about caliber. Most likely, when you bought one of these, it came chambered in .556 NATO. Now, if you're not sure what caliber your rifle is, you can always look on the barrel. You'll see on this one, hopefully that'll be in focus, but it says 5.56 NATO. So, you can shoot ammo, of course, that is marked 5.56 NATO. And you can also shoot ammo that's marked 5.56 millimeter. You can also shoot this American Eagle that's marked AR-556. And here on the end it says 5.56 by 45. So you can safely shoot this. And you can also shoot ammo chambered in 223 Remington. If you're going to shoot 223 Remington, and that's mostly what I shoot, just make sure it's military grade. There's 223 ammo out there made for bolt action rifles. You don't want to use that because the bullet's not crimped to the case like it is on this military ammo. If you shoot 223 bolt action rifle, when that round gets chambered and shoved into that chamber real hard, that bullet could get pushed back into the case. It won't do that with military grade ammo, so 223 is definitely safe to shoot. Okay, let's talk about recoil. Now here's what you're going to be shooting if you're shooting 5.56 ammo. It's really not a very big cartridge, as you can see, and that bullet right here, that's actually 22 caliber. Let me show you how small that bullet is. I've got one right here. I'm going to put it in my hand right next to a dime so you can actually see how small that bullet is. Now that bullet does about 3,100 feet per second approximately. So very little recoil when you're shooting this rifle, which if you're sensitive to recoil, you're really going to like shooting this rifle. Okay, let's talk about magazines. This is a 20 round magazine made by Magpul, and it is marked 5.56 by 45, so we know it is made for my rifle. 20 round, here's a 30 round magazine. Again, this one made by Magpul. So, let me show you how to load one of these. Alright, to load one of these, this here is the front of the magazine. You can tell just by the way this is shaped right here. This is the front, rear of the magazine. So I'm going to take a round, and I'm going to take the back end of the cartridge, and I'm just going to line it up with the back end here, just like that. Put my thumb on it, and push it straight down. You're going to hear it click into place. Take another one, just like so. It's just that easy. Load you up 20 rounds, and you're ready to go. Okay, I'm going to fire 3 rounds through this rifle right now, and there's a couple things I want you guys to watch. Watch the recoil, or the lack of recoil, because like I said, it doesn't kick very hard, and you're going to see 3 empty cases shoot out each time I fire this rifle. And on that 3rd round, you're going to see the bolt is going to automatically lock back. I do want to mention, this rifle is very loud when you shoot it, so I would suggest double hearing protection, earplugs and earmuffs. Put the safety on, take the magazine out, the bolt locked back, and that is a safe weapon right there. Okay, now I have 10 rounds I'm going to fire just for the fun of it. Yeah! Well, that was fun. Hey, I just want to say, do not underestimate the power of this little bullet right here, okay? So here's some grape soda from Kmart. Okay, the difference between an M16 and an AR-15. On an M16, that's a full automatic weapon. When you pull that trigger, it's going to just continue to fire full automatic. And it's going to fire until you either take your finger off the trigger or you run out of ammo. AR-15 is going to fire one shot with one pull of the trigger. Anyways, I hope you learned a lot. Like I said, maybe my next video I'll show you how to tear this apart and clean it. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and we'll see you next time. Yeah.